What happens when a creative passion becomes a thriving business and then evolves into a mission to help others build creative careers of their own? Welcome to the Creative Life Podcast, the place where creatives go for inspiration. I'm Dr. Jessica Olson, your host, joined by co-host Dr. Jacqueline Gibbons. Today, we're joined by Olivia Vogel, founder of False Digits and Live Creatively, entrepreneur, educator, and creative visionary in the beauty industry. Olivia has built a career at the intersection of artistry, entrepreneurship, and education. From creating unique nail art and building a successful salon to launching a nail school that helps aspiring professionals enter the industry. She's transforming what it means to build a creative business while investing in the next generation of artists. In today's conversation, we're exploring creativity, entrepreneurship, personal branding, education, and the responsibility that comes with helping others build successful careers. Olivia, welcome to the Creative Life Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Liv, I already want this to be like an hour long. I have so many more questions before we've even started. But so going all the way back to the beginning, before the salon, before the school, before entrepreneurship, what first drew you toward creativity?
I have been an artist since I was a very little child. I grew up with other sisters. We spent a lot of time actually making movies and just being creative and expressing ourselves, doing each other's hair and makeup and things like that. Even when I was younger, I was always doodling in a notebook. I had an aunt that lived in a town that started Dick Blick. So she would go and find a lot of discount items and send them to me for Christmas and things like that. So that's what really started it, but it was just like my lifestyle. As I got older, I got a fine art degree against my dad's wishes. I really wanted cosmetology originally. It's funny, I made my way there with nails, but I wanted to go to an accredited school. So I chose to get a fine art degree, and then it just kind of led into just creative expression with style in my younger 20s. So I used to screen print clothing. I used to make logos for people, like any type of creative thing that I could do. I just wanted to help people and connect with people. And then making nails, that led into making nails with fashion and style. And I knew I wanted more than just the everyday nail. So I knew I could turn my fine art degree and use it on miniature nails, miniature art. So it's kind of how that evolved.
I love that. Yes. I absolutely love it. So you did talk a little bit about, so you did fine art, you wanted to get an accredited degree, and then how you can do miniature nails. But what about it is so you're working in this creative medium. When did you believe that this could become a career?
I believe that God forces us to do things sometimes. I honestly, most of my youth and early 20s, I didn't really believe that I could be anything more than a starving artist. I thought I would just get by. I was a waitress, and I had just these words in my head that people told me for so long. I'm from such a small town. The limiting belief that you can't do these things is pretty accurate when you live in a small town. But moving to eastern Nebraska, the cities were bigger and there was more opportunities, and I had people that would pour into my life that were doing more than me. They would come and find me like mentors, like just randomly. And then when the pandemic happened, I lost my waitressing job, and I had started False Digits maybe about 8 months prior. But it was the only thing that I could do to fund my life at the time. So I feel like in a way that was such a tragic time for a lot of people, but it was really the launch to my business. So that's when I had to believe, because I didn't have any way for me to make money. My skills were kind of art and helping people. So the waitressing was gone, so the art had to kind of take over.
Wow, you had a pivot.
Yes.
It was a pivot that, like you said, I didn't really choose this pivot. It was a circumstance pivot. However, you optimized it. Yes. You said, I already have this skill. You said 8 months prior to the shutdown, you'd already launched this idea. So you're able to capitalize that and use that. That is really interesting that you bring that in, because not every creative gets into it like, oh, okay, like I've saved up all this money and now I'm going to start this business, or I went to school and then now I'm going to start this business. You really talked about like the different sequences of getting into it and how you're kind of like up against the wall. You're like, okay, COVID is here. That fundamentally changes how I can even work in this service industry. And then I think also in the salon industry too, but you had something unique with the press-on nails.
Yes.
Yes. So you could ship it to them. You didn't have to sit in front of them.
Yes. And at the time, I was not a licensed nail tech. I was just creating art for myself and my friends at my job. And then I had met a lady that was in school for marketing at UNL in Lincoln. And I came to her as a model, looking for a model, and she came to me as someone who saw my business and wanted to help grow it. I was like her, I don't know what you call it, when you're in school and she was using my business as her practice for school. What do you call that?
Oh, yeah.
Like an
Were you for
apprenticeship.
capstone projects?
Yeah,
She
yeah,
probably
basically like
was.
that. She
Oh,
was.
that is
So it
amazing.
just like, again, the stars aligned and everything
Yes.
just kind of, she taught me about branding and marketing, things that the wheelhouse that I had no idea about. Business, branding, marketing, had no idea. Truly was just a creative. So,
I love that because, you know what? Actually, that is an underutilized resource. Now that you just brought that up, most people live next to a college or a junior college or a community college, and there are probably people that are in their marketing and business area that are working on capstone projects. Actually, you just gave me a really good idea to give our creatives, hey, Liv was here. She's like, I didn't have any experience in business and marketing and all these other things, but I was able to combine it, my product, with someone who did to help it grow. That is a really,
Yes.
that is a very interesting way to go about it. I like that. Alrighty, so what vision did you have at the very beginning for False Digits when you were starting off at like 8 months, 12 months? What was your initial vision for it?
well, I really wanted to be in Target and Walmart and have my own nails in there. That was part of it. That was like the end goal of what I wanted to be. The start was like hand making it and just being able to take care of myself and help people with my art and be able to express myself. So there's like a bridge that's still being created, but really just be able to customize things for people, like a little bit more of the artistry side of the beauty world. Whereas other companies that are in Target and Walmart, they're more mass produced. That was like an end goal for me. I felt like that was why I wanted to start a product line. I had never intended truly to become a nail tech. I just wanted to create from the comfort of my own home. As an artist, I spent many hours by myself with my paintings. So it was kind of a drastic change when I became a service provider. I was used to doing my own thing, listening to my music, watching my shows in the comfort of my home. So there's part of it that I miss from the beginning chapters, but there's some things I had to overcome, like socially, to get to that next level of potentially being in Target and Walmart one day.
Right.
I don't know if
you're
that was a
gonna
good
get there.
description.
Oh.
Yeah.
No,
It's on my bulletin board.
Yeah.
I like that.
You.
I like that we've caught you in the messy middle.
Yeah.
Sometimes you
Yes.
catch people in the beginning or the end, and at the end they make it look so easy at that point in time. You're just like, wow, of course, it just blew up overnight. But we've caught you in the messy middle.
Yeah.
You said I had to change some things in the way that I was doing business in order to get to that dream. And the fact that you are navigating that, I think that this is the perfect time for you to talk to our creatives at home.
The fact that the right people just keep entering
Yes.
your life, and as you hit a spot of discomfort, the social thing and
Yes.
with clients, you kind of muscle your way through it. So okay, it's a hurdle. It's not my usual, but okay, this is the direction I'm going right now. And so it's like one little thing after another. Because you keep taking the steps, things keep lining up.
Exactly.
We'll see you in Target, Walmart.
Oh, we will.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we will.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sephora is my place of choice. So
Or Ulta,
I'm
whatever,
actually
all
like
those
rooting for
places.
Sephora.
Okay, so let me ask. Now, I know that you had the help of an undergrad student, which was terrific, but they couldn't walk you through your entire business life. So what were some of the biggest challenges you faced as a first-time business owner?
Without a business background or a finance background, it was definitely had a lot to do with funding, not knowing where to get resources. I was lucky that I was able to start with a credit card to get my business going. Some people don't even have access to a credit card if they don't have a co-signer. I think just when you start, you need capital. and knowledge. So I was using free resources like YouTube. My resources had to be pretty much free. Lower quality products, I was okay with using those things because I wasn't working on a person. But as I got into that, I needed a lot more funding. So I had to work a lot harder. And I pretty much had to work 70 hours a week since then, just because, again, I still don't have the funding. I think that's something that's missing for the creatives. Just being a starving artist is a huge thing. They just don't, it's not that there isn't access, you just don't have a network yet of those people.
Right.
And that just takes time to slowly build that over time. And sometimes wisdom from people that have already been in your shoes. And it takes you like getting into social settings again. I was an artist. A lot of artists spend a lot of time by themselves, expressing themselves, all of that. And so it was very hard to go from solitude to community. There was a big jump there. So I felt like those hurdles had to do with finances, organization. I didn't even know how to build, like have goals and work towards them every day, like taking steps, something I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs talk about, that they don't even know where to start. You know, they see a big goal and it seems so lofty and huge, and it's obviously a dream that's been given to them. They just don't really know how to take that first step. They think they're supposed to be there already. And so, you know, having different people in my life that would be like, oh, when I was your age at this point, this is what I did next. So having people in community helped me like see the next step. But obviously social, financial, just like vision planning, those were some really hard hurdles. And in the beginning, just like every time something didn't work out, you thought it wasn't like that was it, you know, because you didn't have enough history to know like it's always going to work out. When you first start, you just think if I mess up or don't do something right in the beginning, I'm failing. And that doesn't really exist in entrepreneurship. You pivot like we were talking about. And so I didn't know that when I was younger. My belief system in my head was always, can you really do this? Can you really make this happen? And so it was like my belief system was a huge part in the beginning of things that were hurdles for me, my own personal things, not truly what could really happen or what was happening, but what I believed I could do and be in the world. So.
No, I thank you so much for taking us to a level deeper with that response. And I think that that's really going to resonate with some people at home because, one, you're talking about, hey, also you moved to Eastern Nebraska. So you're in a different community. You had lots of different changes, right, in the beginning. And one of the things you talked about was I was moving from solitude, you know, isolation, relatively being in my own space, having to go into a shared space as a service provider. So that was a big change. But then you're also saying funding and startup costs and finances. And I'm thinking about Xavier from the local art plug. He was on our show.
I just wrote a note
You
up
wrote
here.
it So for those creatives, I hope you go back a couple episodes because he talks about that gap right there is connecting those creatives with funding. And so I love the fact that you're also bringing that up as a lived experience because some people might say, oh, I don't really need all that. But you're saying like, hey, it's going to come up. You know, you got to think about the finances. You got to think about the environment, and you might have to make pivots and changes throughout it. But really what you hit on, Liv, is the mindset. And the fact that the mindset at the very beginning is what you had to overcome. Like that right there, that is enough.
That was the biggest hurdle because whether you have a dollar or nothing, like your vision will take you there. But if you don't believe that you can get there, you're the vehicle, you know? So,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So at the end, when we're finished recording, we need to hook her up with Xavier.
Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah.
I'm still self-funded. So,
Are you?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
So
So
I
you just
have-
got
that's
my
why
juice is flowing because I love a network. I love a connection.
Thank you.
We're all about community building. So that
Thank
is
you.
actually going to happen after this episode. We're going to connect you.
Thank you.
I love a connection. Okay.
Thank you.
Alrighty. So what business lessons surprised you the most after opening your salon?
Oh, it was my first business partner. We met in a fine line tattoo class because I also do tattoos and piercings. Again, that was a limiting belief for myself too, that I could even do tattoos. And I walked in with my camera and like I was like trying to record content and just be proud of myself and showcase for myself my journey of this creative life. And this girl, Jess, she was like, hey, we should do something. I like you. You seem like you really like care about this, because I did. You know, I wanted to make this my career, to be a full-time artist. And we went into partnership day one. Okay, so early on, you're just super excited to collaborate with everybody, and not every person needs to be a certain level of your collaboration. So being able to determine where you guys fit together, that takes time to learn somebody.
Sure.
And back then I just was so excited to do something. So that was actually how we started the salon. I had a business partner in the beginning. We were 50-50 partnership. That was my first time having a partnership, really even having a tax accountant, like really just taking everything to the level that it should be. And you really need to like vet the people that you're working with to see, should we be 50-50? Are we equal partners? So that was a really big hurdle with the salon. That was what you asked, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And then thinking that I had planned everything out right, you always need to spend more than what you expected. And the fact that I had never written a business plan in my life, I still haven't, and that is so bad. I hope someone does not hear that and is like cringing, because I just go based off of my dreams and vision and just let every day flow. That is so bad. I know that is so bad. As from the business side, I'm such a creative.
I connect for you on that one too, so don't worry. I have a couple emails to send after the show.
So you know, you've got to.
I know a person. I know two people. Yes.
Please.
Okay.
I've tried to do the Grow Nebraska Women's Business Center. They have a pretty much free program to do a business plan, and I'm like, I don't know. I've already done everything I wanted without the business plan. I wish I would have, because then I would have understood and not been so stressed along the way of like, hey, this month you're able to get this month you're able to get that. I was like in complete survival mode. Like, am I going to be able to get it this month? Do I have a budget even? Like, I was just fully in survival mode for like a solid year starting my business, paying everything out of pocket while taking my clients, while contacting everybody, posting on social media. It was just so many hats I was wearing. While you're like growing some areas, you have to like add that in. So you're like doing these things that you normally do, but then you're like, oh, I need an extra 10 to 15 hours a week to develop this. So the hurdles was definitely partnership, finding the right people for you to collaborate with and work with, who's a friend and who's a business partner, and then definitely just like planning was bad.
Okay. No, that's good. That's
Yeah.
insightful. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
So many people speak to this. We've had many guests speak to personal branding. So how important has personal branding been in building your business?
I think it's everything for my business, especially starting from a handmade business. You are the business. When you're like a brand that's in Ulta or Sephora, you'll have models, celebrities that are your part of your brand, but the CEO and the founder is not always the huge part. But when you are such a small business, people want to know they're supporting somebody in their community. And so the lady who helped me with marketing, she taught me that. She taught me about creating content and just really like using what we can learn from bigger businesses to recreate in our life. So I had a house at the time in Lincoln. We had a room that was like our creative room, and they would come over and I had a couple people on my team. They would come over and they were like my brand ambassadors and me, and we would create a bunch of content, create photos, videos, all these things for launches. But I always had to be a part of it because people wanted to know that I was still a part of the business. And I still find that hard to this day, the transition between creator to business owner. Everybody that sits in my chair, I'm like, I'm trying to start something so more people can have a career. And they're like, but we want you. And I'm like, that is so great and so flattering. But my goal is to create a business where other people can live in it. So I'm not sure about the transition, but it is something that is still to this day, people sitting in my chair, they can't let go of me as part of the business. That's hard, being the creative.
That is
you
a
know?
real thing. Like, because you're opening up a school, you're actually having a huge event that's coming up.
Yes.
And you are, so one of the things that I admire about you, Liv, is the fact that you have gone through a journey, you have found a space, and then now you're ushering in the next generation to fill those spaces.
Yes.
So I get that tension in how you're saying, like, I'm sitting with a client, we have a connection because it is a physical connection. You're right in front of
Yes.
a person, you're right there. And I need you to see the vision, the dream that I have for these other individuals that are coming in.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, that there is that tension because you're moving, your identity is shifting, and it might be hard for other people to see that shift with you.
They're so excited for me, but they also know that my time is going to change and my availability is going to change and my role in the company is going to change eventually.
Absolutely.
Thus, your role in their life
Exactly.
will change.
Exactly.
And if they want you, they're going to need to book months in advance.
They do. So I'm grateful for that.
There you go. There you go.
I am
They're
grateful
on
for
it.
that. Yes, they are.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so we're going to like switch a little bit over to talking more about your school. So, what is the most rewarding part of watching students launch their careers?
Just seeing them go through the steps that I went through, not believing they can do it, and then having a light bulb moment and they're like, oh, I can do this. Or, oh, it wasn't as hard as I thought it was. I just didn't believe I could actually be that person that did that. So I taught a fine line tattoo class recently, and just seeing those moments where they were like smiling with their first client, you know, just like doing role playing. They're like, oh, this is real. Like, it's becoming real. Just seeing them like embody that person that they didn't believe that they could be. You know, just like that limiting belief that I went through, just to see them in real life go through that and their eyes like light up and their spark being there, and like just being able to be along the journey and be a mentor and just being a role model. Like, hey, you saw me go through that, you can go through that too. And then you'll get to the next chapter, like where I was at. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm following.
I love that you're facilitating their growth, yet you can also think of your own journey in this. And at what points did you have mentorship, and other parts you just kind of had to figure out along the way? Don't you love those light bulb moments?
Yes, I love it. And just being able to be that mentor for them, maybe when I didn't have that, I'm like, I wish someone would have given me my contract that I had to write up myself, you know, or went to a lawyer for. Like, I want people to not have to spend as much money and just have the information they need to just be able to start and actually do the art instead of do all the business behind it. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I like it.
So what advice would you give someone who wants to turn their passion into a business?
I was thinking a lot about that question. One of the biggest things is, again, your belief and your vision. Your vision is something that I think we've had from a really young age about what you want to be and what you want to do in the world, and just listening to your inner child a lot. Like, that will guide you. Like, you'll never go astray if you listen to yourself. Not what people tell you that you should be or what society tells you should be. Just really like being true to yourself, because that will create a very unique role in the world. And we don't need copycats of other people. We need unique people creating a space for more unique people, you know? So being true to yourself, not giving up on yourself. A couple of your questions I thought back to athletics and how in the beginning you give up so much. You're passionate about something, and that's a very emotional state. And when that dies down, you quit, or something goes wrong. That's super emotional. It feels like a failure. It feels like you can't do it. It feels like, I don't know, it's hurdles or roadblocks are like really emotional when it's coming from a space of passion. So trying to step back and keeping focused on the big picture and be like, this is just another step, or this is just another side step. Just continuing to keep going and never stopping, because the only person that doesn't win the race is the one that stops. So whatever your race is, you will get there if you just don't give up on yourself and that little kid's dream inside you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So for their creatives at home, what I'm pulling from you, Liv, is that, okay, there's going to be challenges. Like, this is not going to be a smooth road. Like, this is not just a paved road. This is Omaha potholes, okay? Like, you're driving, you know what I mean?
I broke a strut in one of them.
And, and like you said, you're going to hit something. You're going to get an impediment. You're going to get a roadblock. But you can't let that be the thing that says, oh, I'm out. Like you said with the sports analogy, like, oh, I'm running and it's tiring. I can't go up this hill. I'm just going to stop. But if you maybe take a different pace or you go a different way, you
That-
can still get to the finish line. So I like the fact that you are showing how to be agile. I mean, I think your whole life actually shows that you're being agile. Like you said,
Yes.
COVID happened. Oh, I couldn't waitress anymore. Okay, so now I started this business. Well, now I had to figure out partnership and friendship. Now the business. Now I'm figuring out teaching and being an artist myself. So you have a very agile life.
Yes.
I copious notes yet again. You had previously mentioned that you had learned from this individual excuse me, within marketing about being from the community, someone from the community providing this service. So what role does community play in creative growth and professional success?
I love this question. Again, I'm going to be as quick as I can, but it goes back to my childhood. I grew up with a single parent, so we relied heavily on community, whether it was family members, friends, from the school, from church. I learned so much from all the people that took care of us or we shared our time with or did events with. And I just think on one side, community is where we gain a lot of wisdom without having to walk through those battles that someone walked through, just as this situation is right here with your podcast. Just being able to be in community and being a part of your community, hearing from other people and not having to repeat what somebody else did. Love that. And then on the other hand, it's like we wouldn't have a community without people. So my business wouldn't be anything without the people who sit in my chair, even the people who never make it, but they're from another country or from another state or country and they watch and they're on my social community. There's so many different communities we're a part of and they make up the whole and support and share and come to my car show. You know, like not everybody's going to be my student. There's different pockets of community. And not everybody will even support my business. Some of it's words of encouragement, just all these things that help to keep us pushing forward as creatives and to fund our business too, and to give us wisdom and help us along the way. All these different people that they all offer something. Somebody who's not even an entrepreneur would teach me about relationships. You know, that will build my business. Somebody who does nails, they'll teach me a trick that I didn't know. You know, so it's all, that's how we grow and learn without having to be in everybody's shoes all around.
Perfect. Well, guess what? We're at the final couple seconds of today's episode. This is a perfect place to end. And Liv, for all of our creatives at home, how do they find you? How do they connect with you? Please drop your handles and your website.
All right. My website is www.falsedigits.com. My Instagram for False Digits is just at False Digits, false_digits. My TikTok is False Digits. I also have a salon, glowup_Omaha, and I do my tattooing on another page. Don't need to get into that. I have too many pages. My personal page is at Live Creatively with 2 Ys.
All right, perfect. Thank you for listening to the Creative Life Podcast, the place where creatives go for inspiration. If today's conversation inspired you to take a creative risk, support local arts, or pursue a vision you've been putting off, make sure to follow the podcast so you never miss an episode. And if you're looking for a deeper creative community, keep an eye out for the upcoming Creative Letters Book Club, where we'll explore creativity, leadership, storytelling, and personal growth through meaningful conversations and great books. To stay updated on future episodes, book club announcements, and behind-the-scenes content, follow us on Instagram at the Creative Life Podcast Omaha. And if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who believes in the power of creativity and community. Until next time, keep creating, keep growing, and keep living the creative life.